I am still working on some more lighthearted content, but this took priority. If someone wants to make it difficult for you to exist, or wipe you out of existence, you are at war. This isn't cringe exaggeration, this is fact. What I'm about to cover is important. Please share this widely. We are at a turning point, and it is also no exaggeration to say these moments, these decisions, will decide the future. This is a fight we all must win by any and all means necessary, nothing held back, nothing left on the field.
So, those glorious dudes over at SiegedSec, those amazing gay furry hackers, they've done it again, and they've done it big time this time. They have hacked the Heritage Foundation, which, you might not know, has got some significant links to the Trump administration. The Heritage Foundation published a thing called Project 2025.
Yesterday I came aware of a very troubling report. Now, I have no way to verify any of this. I don't know anyone in SiegedSec personally. I can't determine this poster's authenticity, but as far as I can tell, they appear genuine. They state that SiegedSec activists are being quietly picked off, disappeared, or otherwise tormented. Vio, the brave hero who stood up directly to the Heritage Foundation creep, Mike Howe, is being marked as disappeared. When all this happened, Mike Howe told Vio in an exchange that he would stop at nothing and use the FBI essentially as his personal agent of vengeance to retaliate on SiegedSec. Howe said he hoped Vio would be raped in the federal prison he put them in. Personally, I don't see how the FBI or anyone else could effectively prosecute this case. I'm sure there is no cyber forensic evidence left. SiegedSec knew the stakes and they are the best at what they do. However, from what I'm gathering, the goal isn't a successful prosecution. The goal is terror, intimidation, and revenge. Ways for this regime to hurt its opponents and dissidents and create a chilling effect far from any due process. Time for a necessary side trip. The MAGA crowd, the ultra-conservative set, all of them, they have this unique mindset about the federal government. The infamous events of January 6 were a prime example.
Highly suspicious of the authorities and the media. They say they're not supremacists, just fighting government tyranny.
An anti-government ideology, but at various times it takes on whatever the cultural issue is of the day, and particularly any cultural issue that Donald Trump is embracing.
For many, all we heard for years was about how their brave J6 patriots were tortured in federal jails with no due process rights, all for trying to stand up for what they believed in. But it's perfectly okay to do that to our brave patriots because they're gay furry hackers. The hypocrisy is strong. Until recently, in the MAGA world, the federal government was seen as a mysterious agency of unconstitutional threats. They constantly speak of things like the Indefinite Detention Act, the Patriot Act, CIA black sites, FISA courts, governmental spooks constantly surveilling, etc., etc. There are loads of personalities that will explain how to defeat law enforcement and federal techniques. How you must stay armed to be able to shoot FBI or police dead when they come for you. How to evade surveillance. They are the enemy. They want to disappear you with no due process rights. And you have the sovereign citizens, the militias, the ghost gun phenomenon, the constant claims of censorship, how the left wants to disappear them for saying the wrong thing or make it look like a suicide. Okay, so you get the picture. Out of this far-right undercurrent, we now see coming to life the conservative manifestation of this nightmare world twisted around and turned at their enemies. Now the FBI and other federal agencies are tools to bring vengeance against us, to terrorize people into silence, erase trans or really any LGBT people from existence, deport or assault those who tick you off. Now, all of a sudden, the idea of the deep state isn't so scary, because they are the deep state. Instead of subversively plotting to defeat or kill FBI agents, they are now heroes to be deployed against the undesirable. Sorry for the side tangent there, but as I'm sure you can see, it's very relevant. SiegedSec represents all of us. They are our champions who fought back the way they knew how, the way that they could, rising up to fight with their computers every bit as bravely as if charging into combat on the battlefield. They knew the risks, and they did it anyway to strike back, knowing what was coming with Agenda 25. Now, this new face of government wants to break us all. Despite things you've heard over the years from the far right, like, I may disagree with what you'd say, but I'd die for your right to speak it.
They'll take away your Second Amendment, which we will never allow to happen.
and other nifty sound bites about how constitutional rights are for everyone, we are now seeing this isn't the case, and some are simply more equal than others. Now, certainly this isn't true of everyone who identifies conservative, but we see now how real this threat is, as most of them feel emboldened to show their true faces with an orange in the White House. We have renewed attacks on furries in Arizona and Texas, under the guise of protecting children, a story so lame it needs crutches. We see attacks on trans people in places like Texas, where the consensus is their very existence is a felony. With the federal government willing to back them up, where trans people would essentially have to travel under illegal or false documents to be able to be themselves. And we even see it in the halls of the U.S. Capitol, where the first trans congresswoman is met with threats of violence and flagrant disrespect by her colleagues. This is a culture war which has been cooking for some time, and now it's ventured into new and horrible places. Now it's become an actual war, with an obsolete group of people who don't realize they're slowly dying out regardless of whatever they do, clinging to vehement hatred of groups they don't like for reasons I doubt they could effectively articulate. But don't doubt for a minute how dangerous they are. They had a tantrum and forced their way where they wanted to be, and while they have it, they intend to stomp all over everyone they don't like. Maximum pain is the goal here, no mercy. And I hope that they expect no less in return. And the same goes to all the shills hiding behind their uniform or just following orders as they violate human rights. As far as SiegedSec, I don't have anywhere near all the facts, and I hope this information is wrong and that they're all okay. I do find it odd that the heritage clowns haven't taken to bragging about capturing our fighters. I find it hard to believe they could resist, especially that prick Hal. Although he was reminiscing a few days ago about his leaked controversial Signal chat where his true feelings were exposed. Here's what I do know. We owe it to them to have their back and show them that they are not alone, and keep up the fight every way that we can. It could be something as simple as calling and nagging FBI or Heritage, leaving public comments and spreading awareness, more disruption and hacktivism of their infrastructure, or as many have said, simply existing and not being afraid. Hypothetically, it would be awesome if someone happened to breach and ascertain if any SiegedSec members were truly being held and where. As this person had stated on the SiegedSec telegram, it may have been a scary, lonely journey for some of these brave souls. This is something to keep in mind. Not everyone needs to be a rock star hacker. As things progress, keep in mind there are many ways you can help in your various sets of resistance. It could be helping with food, money, shelter, transportation, obtaining alternative documents, helping to confuse authorities, or dissemination of false info that wastes their time and spends resources muddying investigations. There are many possible ways to lend aid. I guess in a sense it would almost be like a modern underground railroad. One final thought. They want to call us criminals. This from the paranoid ones, who have spent decades fostering hatred and nursing mistrust and planning for the day that they'd have to go to war with police and other government officials, constantly bitching about how everyone's out to get them and their way of life is being threatened. And now, in the end, they've gotten everything they've ever wanted, got to the height of power, even though they won't be keeping it for very long. Hell, they're barely holding on to it now, but they immediately commence dishing that same treatment out to everyone they don't like. So if we're criminals, so are you. You will never win. Fuck you.